During the good old 1950s, there was an array of giant monster movies. Yeah, big creatures that run amok and start destroying stuff, putting mankind's future into jeopardy. Some good ones were, for example, The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms from 1953, or 1955's Tarantula. But of course, one bad apple ruins the whole batch. And this is the case with The Black Scorpion. So, in this movie, a volcano in Mexico erupts, unleashing a species of giant drooling scorpions that was thought to be extinct. And they're not friendly. The first thing to note is that the special effects were provided by Willis O'Brien, the effects master behind the classic King Kong, for example. And honestly, for the time being, they are pretty good. I am impressed. They carry the whole movie, because the rest isn't worth a damn. If it wasn't for the special effects, this would have put me directly to sleep. The film starts off with a very generous amount of stock footage of volcanoes erupting, before switching to these two guys, who are geologists but spend their time playing detective and figuring out what has been killing people in the area. The dialogue is one of the movie's major enemies. It's boring, unengaging, corny, wooden, whatever adjective you want to use to describe the suckiness of it. But really, it's just awful, and does not make you want to engage with the story nor the characters. There's this boring and non-relevant love story going on between this rancher woman and one of the geologists. He first spots her with binoculars while riding on a horse, where she all of a sudden falls off for some reason like an idiot. It's odd because she was doing just fine before. There's painfully dull flirting throughout the whole movie, with the geologist spitting some of the worst flirt lines I've ever heard. Nobody cares about them. Can't we move on to the real action, and maybe finally get to see the titular monsters of the movie? Well, you actually don't get to see them until over 20 minutes into the film, which is a lot of time considering that the rest of it is so bad. Also, if this movie has taught me one thing, is that scorpions squeak apparently. No comments here. But honestly, these quote-unquote detectives are really useless. All they do in this film is drive around, walk around, horribly flirt for one of them, and nothing else. Even though they try to be the heroes of the film, where they need to save a population from giant man-eating scorpions, they don't really do anything. There's this scene where they go into this crater to gas the scorpions to death. But all they wind up doing is slowly walking around and taking pictures with this big-ass camera which emits an enormous amount of light. Weren't you supposed to kill those beasts, not make a photo album? Oh yeah, that will keep you safe and sound. It won't at all attract the monsters towards you. Oh, also, they have a counterpart in a small Mexican town who is a scientist who has his own laboratory. In a small, rural Mexican town during the 1950s, and yet they have a top-of-the-line laboratory just randomly there. The screenwriters didn't think that one through for sure. Anyways, they wind up sealing the crater with dynamite, but the scorpions manage to come out from another way and get to Mexico City, where you know what happens. I don't even need to explain it. After an extremely long and incredibly repetitive final fight, they finally kill the last remaining scorpion. And after all that horrible commotion, do you know how the movie ends? Take a guess. Yeah, the woman and the geologist just leave together after leaving a flirtatious note to the rest of the group, who all seem just as holly jolly, even though the city was almost destroyed by giant monsters. Anyways, this movie is trash. It's too bad that the effects and the talent of Willis O'Brien were wasted on this project. It's really an under-average sci-fi, which barely deserves any recognition. Stay away from this, it's a waste of time. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, don't hesitate to leave a like and subscribe in order to get notified for more bad movie reviews coming really soon.